taking a kid's handwriting and turning it into embroidery. Today, that's exactly what we'll do using our PR1055. Welcome to the AllBrands Show. I'm your host, Courtney Douthat. Now, the first step, we actually need my son's handwriting. So I did have him take just a regular piece of computer paper, nothing special about it, and a marker. This one happened to be blue. Does not have to be blue. It can be whatever color you want, but I have noticed the darker colors do pick up a little bit nicer. So I just gave him a simple marker, had him write Dad on it. That way, for Father's Day, I'm getting ahead of schedule and we can embroider my son's actual handwriting on a hat. How wild is that? And then if I'm doing hats, of course, I'm gonna run over to my multi-needle machine. Now, Courtney, if it's only one color, why do you need to run to your multi-needle machine? It's because I want the free arm. The free arm is fantastic because, yeah, I could do hats on my Avenir or any flatbed, but of course you have to squish the hat down. You have to really get it in there. And honestly, I kind of just prefer to do it on my multi-needle. That's why every time someone asks me, they're like, Courtney, if I'm going to do a lot of hats, what machine? I usually point them to one of the PR machines, either the PR1X, because it's a single needle, so if they don't want all the colors and all the cool editing and stuff like that. Now, you wouldn't be able to do this the exact same way on a PR1X. You don't have a built-in scanner. So, but it does give them that free arm, so they could do hats. And then you could go up to a 6 needle, and the 6 needles, well, then it's got 6 needles, it's awesome, but again, doesn't have the scanner. So the 10 needle, she's got all the things. She's got a camera, she's got 10 needles, let's be honest there. She's got 10 needles, she has the scanner, which is fantastic. It's the only PR machine from Brother that has that scanner, and I love the scanner. So that's kind of where I'm going for this. As soon as I thought, oh, how cute would it be? He likes hats. He needs a new one. Goodness knows his other ones need to be retired. So I'm thinking a cute hat that says Dad with our child's handwriting, 10 needle all the way. So the first step we need to do is to actually get our scanner ready. So I have Dad written right here, and I actually had him write it in 2 different ways just to see what I liked. I think I like the chunkier one better. The machine could read both though. So there is a scanning mat. I want to call it a mat, but I'm sure it's called a frame that comes with your 10 needle. And they have these little green magnets that actually hold down the paper. And again, this is just regular computer paper that I had him draw on. And it didn't even need to be a letter. He could have drawn a picture and I could scan that in. So I'm going to put that on there and put those magnets. Now, if you've got a Luminaire or an Avenir, this might also feel familiar because it's the same concept as those machines. But if you notice, it is shaped a little bit different because it's meant to go on your 10 needle. How amazing is that? So there she is. She is all ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and slip her on to my 10 needle. Now, there are little bitty screws that are going to come off that need to go onto our scanning frame. So if you notice, the arms of my 10 needle are on here. So I'm going to unscrew those little bitty gray screws. And those are very important. Do not lose those. I'm actually really careful whenever I am using mine. And there's actually placeholders on a lot of the arms and on the frames to hold those little screws because they're itty bitty and we don't want to lose them. So I'm just unscrewing all of them. There we go, the second one. And it's just going to slide right off. There it goes. And then we're going to take those and we're going to be good. And remember I told you there's a placeholder? There's where the placeholder is to hold them. But we are going to use them to connect our scanning frame in just a minute. But I just like to be overcautious. Now on your scanning frame, you're going to know this little black item. And you're like, what is this? This actually needs to go where that free arm is. So right there, it just slots in. There's like a little bitty hole where there's holes on the little black object and they just pop right in. That is what you need to be able to use this. It's kind of like a little protector guide. So I'm going to go ahead and put that scanning frame on there, and there are actually little bitty holes and little nodes. So if you notice on the left, that little node that's slotted into there, and then there's an opening where we can put those little bitty gray screws that we used earlier to take off that arm. So again, popping that where that node is and then screwing in. It's very user friendly, so that way you know, okay, it's on there. Everything's lining up great. So we're just finger tightening those. And then we're going to come over to our screen. I'm going to select my design center at the bottom because yes, it has my design center in the 10 needle. I feel like not enough people talk about that. At the top, we're going to select illustration design. And then we're going to come and select scan. Select OK, and it's going to start scanning our image. Now it's just going to usually like 3 passes, depends on I guess how detailed your image are, but I feel like 3 passes is usually how it gets it. Now there were other options. Illustrated design was just one of them. We could have selected line design and that would have done in like an outline of our image. But I wanted the whole image and I wanted it to be like a chunky satin stitch. So illustration design is what's going to get me. So how cool is this? Built-in camera. I don't have to use a phone or anything like that or any kind of external software. Everything's done inside the machine. And honestly, the less things I have to worry about learning, the better. So it's fantastic. There's our image. So I'm going to go ahead and just shrink it in. That way it just highlights what I actually want, which is the dead part. And then I'm going to lower the colors because I want a solid color. So the lowest you can go is 2. There we go. Gorgeous. Now, the pen did get darker in some areas and lighter in others. So it did actually pick up 2 colors later on because I messed up a step. So this is what we should have done. You could even remove the background if you wanted to, because it does have that option. All right, I'm gonna hit set. And the first thing I'm going to do is come right here, select my colors and select no sew. No sew is going to allow me to say I don't want it to sew something or do something. So I hit the paint bucket and then I selected inside the D, the A, and the other D. Because if I hadn't, then it would have actually filled those spaces in with white. And that's not what I want. I just want the blue. Now I could up the background scan so I can see my image, but I actually like to keep it lower because I want to see what's actually going to get stitched out. Now I should have resized it smaller before I moved on, and I did have to go back later to do that, but I didn't think you guys wanted to watch that. So I'm going to go ahead and sit and hit OK. So there she is. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off my frame. So we're going to unscrew it. Remember those little gray screws. It's very simple. Very, very simple to get this off. I think a lot of people get intimidated because the PR has arms. You have to attach and everything like that. Guys, once you kind of learn what they are, they're so easy. It's just all those little gray screws. So we're going to take that off. All right, and then we're going to put on our hat driver. So we're going to go ahead and put that on, slide that on. It's got a long bar at the top, and that actually slips on. Remember those little nodes, those little metal nodes? There's a spot, if you can tell, there's a little hole, and you just slip those on. So once you slip those on, you have a spot opened up to be able to put those little gray screws again. So remember, they just keep coming back. There's also screws that are bigger at the bottom. So usually what I like to do is I like to put on the top screws and tighten those a bit, just a bit, and then I go and tighten the bottom ones, and then I tighten the top ones more, and then that together is going to be able to slip that on there and tighten it really well to use. All right, we're going to take our hat frame off of the stand right here. And these little rollies, they're little white rollies. That's how it slips on and off of here. So let's go ahead and we're going to put it on because we're going to actually put our hat onto this frame. So I'm going to have that little rolly. You just push her back gently. She locks in. I really like how they have this sliding method. Now she's on there, she's good. So we're gonna go ahead and open this little side compartment. It's like a little clamp and it opens up and you're gonna fold it back all the way. I mean, we're not pushing it back, but we're just gonna let it open up because this is the part that actually holds down our cap. Don't forget to remove the little cardboard if you have inside of your cap because we don't want to embroider that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And then I'm going to make sure that the clamp on the top of my cap frame set is up because that's actually what locks down onto the bill later. So I want to make sure that's up. Then I'm going to take a piece of stabilizer that I already have pre-cut. Now, I like a really good thick tearaway stabilizer for my hats usually, and I'm going to go ahead and slip that underneath that little metal piece. And then you're going to see me pressing down on it because there are little bitty spikes that I want to poke through that stabilizer and it holds the stabilizer in place. So you're going to see me motioning around, kind of going all the way around, and really goes to the side of it too. So you'll see those little bitty spikes poking through, and that's when you know that your stabilizer is actually going to be on there and held properly. It's fantastic because there's no actual hooping it like how you normally would do. It's these little spikes that actually hold it down. So we're just going to go around, get those spikes on through. Again, like I said, you see I'm going to the side of it because there are spikes all the way down the side of it to properly hold that stabilizer in that circle motion for your hat. Now you can buy stabilizer that is already cut to this size if you wanted to, and then it's like in long strips. It's in a big roll that you could, or you could just cut it yourself. It's whatever you want to do. If you're doing a lot of hats, then yeah, it's really nice having the pre-done one, but if not, then just cutting out regular stabilizer works. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put our hat on there. I like to, the little sweatband, I like to pull the sweatband up, and then that way it also slips underneath that metal piece from earlier that we slipped that stabilizer down. So we're just gonna go ahead and slip that in there. So right here, you see me slipping that sweatband underneath there like that, just wiggling her on in, and I'm centering that little bitty mark on the metal piece with the center mark of my hat. So my hat has a line through it and I'm centering those two together. I'm also making sure that sweatband goes all the way around the frame. All right, now we're going to take that piece that we opened up earlier, remember we folded it back, and we're going to have it go around the bill. So the bill is actually going to go in between the metal parts. So you see me kind of lining everything up and then taking that, and it's going to swallow it around like that. Now I like to make sure that metal piece is over there where the top of the bill is, but I'm just going to go ahead and secure that down just like how we did earlier to open it up. So we're going to lock it down. And then we're going to add that little topper back to the top of it. And that's what's going to hold it down. Now, if you also know, there's a little red line that is also pointing to the center of my cap. So it's helping us center it multiple times in multiple ways. So we're making sure that that center is right there. And I constantly move it around, make sure it's on there. And then you're going to take these clips that they give you. And they look like binder clips, but like crooked. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to clip. There's a little metal piece down there. And you're going to clip that metal piece in that hat. That's just going to secure it down. And I like to smooth out my sides and then kind of wiggle it around, make sure everything is nice and smooth. And you do that on both sides. So I've got 2 on this side, and then I've got 2 on the other side to really secure down my hat. And then after that, you're pretty much done. You see how that metal piece is right there on that bill? That's what we want. It's out of that clearance. And we're just going to pull that off because remember we had those little white rollers that helped us put it off and on. And now we're ready to put this on our machine. Now those white rollers are also how we put it on our machine. So they're right here. Now whenever I put my hat frame on there, I like to actually put it to the side because I don't want the bill accidentally hitting the needles. So I come in from the side and then once I'm past the needles, I put it right side up. And then we're just going to slot it back there. Do you see my thumbs are always on that metal piece? Because that's where they're supposed to be. You just evenly push them down. Now I am going to size it down by hitting size and of course going down both sides because it is much too big to fit on my hat. Once we have that, I hit in edit. And then I'm going to select the trace button. The trace button is going to allow me to be able to kind of position it and see where I'm at, where, if it's too big, is it too small? Now, Courtney, why didn't you just use the camera feature? You can't use the camera when the hat frame is on there. Now, I know it would have been really cool, and I'm hoping Brother changes that in the future, Brother. But unfortunately, you can't use the camera whenever the hat is on there. Now, when a normal frame is on there, yes, camera all day. But something about the hat, they do not allow you to do it, which is fine because the trace is going to do just fine. So I can kind of see where the outline of my design is going to be, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit embroidery. And this is where I go to select my colors. Now, I personally like to use the magic wand to select my colors. I know there's tons of different ways, but this is how I do mine. So I select number 2 because that's where my white is that I want to stitch out. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to select the magic wand. Now I'm going to select number 2 again and select the color that I want. So right there, both threads are going to be number 2. So the number 2 slot, because remember, this is a 10 needle. So the number 2 slot is what I want to select mine out of. So everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and lock, and she's ready to go. All I have to hit is the green button, and green means go. Now, while she's stitching out, look how cool is this? Just look how cool. And so number 2 is stitching out. Now, if I had told it I wanted it to be multiple colors, I could have. Now, if you notice, I had to select 2 different areas to say I wanted number 2. This is where I messed up. Now, I showed you guys the correct way to do it. I forgot to resize, and I had to go back. And when I did that, I forgot to do the no-sew. So I had to do no-sew in a different section. So not the section that we were on when we were in Design Center. If you do it that way, when you go and take out no-sew, it's going to only leave you one color. I had to do it separately. So it made this weird thing where it thought I was doing 2 colors and it split up the design instead of putting the blues together. It made it as if there were 2 different blues. So the area where my son maybe pushed down on the marker a little bit more and had a darker blue, it now considered that a secondary color. So do it like I showed you, and that won't be a problem. So if you notice, it's actually going to sew patchy the first time, and then it's going to go back and fill those in. But if you did what I showed you, that wouldn't have happened, but I did have to go back, unfortunately. So that's how you fix it. That's why it's doing that. But look how cool this is. It's so neat that I've made a font out of his handwriting. So his actual handwriting, it's now a font that I have. It's amazing. And I could have made him do all the letters A through Z if I had wanted to, upper and lowercase. Now I'm not going to do that to him. He would have totally done it. And I just needed it to say dad. But how neat is that? How funny is it? Just did the little point because of how I messed up. Okay, say as I do. What is it the saying? Do as I say, not as I do. All right, I told you how to fix that. All right, here comes the A. This is so cool. Now, Of course, this was pre-filmed, so I did already show my son this, and he thought it was the coolest thing. And now he wants his dad to write his name for him to have a hat that says his name. So for my son John, his hat would be John, but in his dad's handwriting. And I thought that was such a precious idea. So now they'll have matching hats. I don't know if we should put John or son. Put in the comments, what should we put on the hat? What should they write? I think that is the sweetest, sweetest thing. And of course, I can't ask his dad yet because he doesn't know this is a gift. So afterwards, we're going to have to make him a little matching hat. Now, look at that. Here comes the A. It's so good. How easy was this? It really does not take any time at all. And then it's kind of sky's the limit because it didn't have to be something drawn. If you had a printout of something, think of that. You could print anything out in the whole wide world that you wanted to, scan that in, and now you just digitized it in-house. Like this is in-house digitizing, no external software. It's in My Design Center. Guys, I don't feel like we talk about My Design Center enough. The machines with My Design Center, they unlock a whole amazing thing. And with that scanner, it's really, really fantastic. So I absolutely love My Design Center. Let me know in the comments, do we need to do more videos with My Design Center? Because I am a-okay with that. I absolutely love My Design Center. Now, this video has not been sped up in any way. That's how fast the needles go. They go super, super fast. It's fantastic. Also, I don't know if you've been noticing, in between it stopping sewing, it is cutting my thread. How amazing is that? Now think of it, if we had a design that had like 10 different colors, and we wanted to do all 10 colors, we wouldn't have to rethread it at all. It would just automatically switch to the color that we told it, hey, I want that section to be this particular color. And then it would sew those out. And so I kind of love that about the 10 needle, is that it's kind of one of those set it and forget it kind of moments that I don't actually have to do anything once I put my frame on there, my hat on there, whatever it is on there. I don't have to do anything. It's going to change out all the colors for me. And most of the time I'll leave like white, black, and like my primary colors on my machine at all times, and then switch it out sometimes for a fun thread. Oh, speaking of fun thread, I did a Kingstar metallic the other day on my 10 needle. Beautiful. Fantastic. If you've never used Kingstar metallic thread, it is so fantastic. And even at this speed that it's stitching out right here, it did it like it was nothing. Went through my machine beautifully. So I absolutely love using Kingstar on my 10 needle. It's so good. Now, if you haven't noticed, this machine that I am using, this one happened to be the one that was in Baton Rouge retail. So it was nice to see some of you guys that were coming into the store while I was filming this. It was kind of fun. Now, you notice, remember I told you about those little gaps that it was going to fill in? Look at that. It fills in the gaps. And it's like they were never there. This machine, it's genius. I don't understand it, but I don't need to understand it. I just need to hit the go button. There we go. There she goes. It's so nice. Now, I wish I would have done a fun color, but honestly, that white on that blue, I think that was the best bet. And it just looks so fun. The little handwriting, little kid handwriting. I cannot wait to give this to my husband for Father's Day. He's going to absolutely love it. All right, now if for some reason I thought there was a little section over here that needed to be filled, it was really, really fast. And again, none of this was sped up. This was real time, how it stitched out this beautiful design. And I love this. And now I have this saved in my machine. So I could put this on anything, and now I have a saved design of his little hand, and it's so, or his little handwriting, and it's so cute. So I think we could have put this on an apron if your husband likes to barbecue, or like your father or father-in-law, and you want to make them a Father's Day gift. We could have put this on a little apron. Oh, I've done where I traced the kids' hands, and we've actually scanned that in, and then we did that on the apron, and it was really cute. Because yeah, you could do vinyl and a lot of other things, but I feel like stitchers, they're locked in. It's washable. You know, not that heat transfer vinyl isn't, but I feel like this is just some texture to it, and it's fantastic. So it's kind of sky's the limit, especially with all the different gift ideas that you could give Dad for Father's Day. It's just one of those really, really cute ones. All right, and there she goes. She's finishing out the little part of my A. I think she has a little part of my D left, and then this will be done. And honestly, this is all I have to do. After it comes out, all I do is I take out the stabilizer out of it, and again, it was a tearaway stabilizer, so I don't have to cut anything out. I just gently tear it out, put that sweatband back, and it works great. Now, if you want to put like a little, what is it called? That little patch that you can put on the back. Sometimes you put it on baby's clothes on the inside if it's rubbing on them. I don't feel like I have to do that with that, but if you want to finish the inside out nicely, you could do that. But honestly, the stitches are so good, and I love to be able to see the inside of embroidery and see how it was done and just like the mechanics of it all, but it's up to you completely what you do. Another neat thing that if you actually watch, the needle is going up and down. The needle itself is not moving. The frame is moving, like how you normally would do on a flatbed. But I love that it moves in this like cylinder thing. It's kind of cool. It's just like moves it around perfectly. Like how neat is that to be able to stitch on it? I love machines in general. If you can't tell, but I love the multi-needle machines because how neat is this? And think how hard would it have been able to try to hoop this, even on a magnetic hoop, on a flatbed machine. Like I know there's frames out there that they're like, hey, it makes it easy. No, none of it's easy. None of it is easy. But that free arm, and again, that free arm is that spot that was right in the center that comes out that you actually put things around. So to be able to embroider on stockings, on the side of a boot, on a sleeve of a shirt or a jacket, it's so great. It opens up all these possibilities that just really would not be possible on a flatbed. That doesn't mean I don't love my flatbed. You know I love my Avenir and all my other machines, but free arm is great. So usually if someone's like, whoa, I can't afford a 10 needle, well then I love that they have the 6 needle. And then below that they have the PR1X, which is also a fantastic machine. So again, the PR1X I think is just a good idea if you're wanting a free arm, you know, at a lower cost, that PR1X. And again, I reference Brother machines. There are tons of different ones. I mean, we are a Bernina dealer, so we sell like the E16 and stuff. So I've played with all of them. I do have a warm place in my heart for that, for the Brother ones, because they are user-friendly. And the user face, so like my design center, is exactly the same. I was going to say very similar, but exactly the same as my Avenir or my Luminaire or my Stellaire or my other machines that have my design center. So it's easy for me to jump back and forth to each one. All right. Ooh, I think she's almost done. And she's done. You know, the blinking light means done. So I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm ready to take off my hat off of my frame. All right. So the same method, we're going to just slide her on out. There she goes. We're going to tilt it so we don't hit our needles. And there she is. So now all I have to do is push that cap part off. So that topper, just push her on off and open up that clamp to get her off. I'm going to take off my little side binder clips is what I call them. I'm sure they have a technical name, but I call them binder clips because that's what they feel like to me. There we go. Take the topper off. Open up that little hatch. There we go. And just swing her on open. Very carefully, of course. There we go. All right, and then I am good about putting that back on my driver because I do not want anything to happen to my frame at all. So that is back on my driver, and there's my hat. So again, I'm going to take out that stabilizer. I'm so sorry. This thing is not, I'm not putting it in the right angle, but I am just pulling out my stabilizer because again, it was a tearaway stabilizer that I used, and I could go in between the A and the D and take all that out. Maybe I will down the road. But there we go. We'll put our sweatband back. So our sweatband is fully usable still, and there's our hat. There is our dad hat. And then here is the letters that we originally started with turned into it. How fantastic is that? I mean, it really did just like it was exactly the same. It was just amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of taking handwriting, my child's actual handwriting, and turning it into beautiful embroidery. Let me know, have you guys ever done this before? And yes, I know I wasn't live today and I'm so sorry. But do not worry, I will be back next week. And don't forget to stop by our website, allbrands.com, where we have so many items, awesome things like 6 needles and everything like that, as well as shopping at any of our 8 retail stores. So make sure you stop by any of those. If you haven't heard, guys, we've got so many things we've unleashed over the last few weeks. Oh my goodness, we have so much going on, like mini maker sewing camp in a lot of our locations. Of course, we have AllBrands Academy at 4 different locations that we have opened. Wild. So AllBrands Academy, Mini Makers is open, and also we announced that I'm going on tour, the Lunch and Learn tour with some fantastic National Brother educators. It's going to be great. It's completely free. Just come in, come hang out with us, and we're so excited about this tour. So I'll be hitting tons of our locations with some National Brother educators, some amazing learning, some amazing lunching, so just hanging out, having a good time, and just making it so fun this summer. So I'm so excited about that. So if you have seen that, make sure you sign up for that jot form, so that way we know how many people are coming, you know, for food's sake. All right, guys, I will see you next week again with my special guest. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to let us know that you guys want more of these videos. Y'all have a good night. Bye, y'all.